All right, guys, look who we've got. We're kicking off 2025 with none other than Mr. Charlie Ross. Charlie, what is going on, dude? Where are you at right now?
Happy to be here. I've seen all the interviews with Will. I used to watch all of them and try to learn as much as I can. So happy to be on here finally, and happy we're doing this.
Dude, you've learned. Look, you're the freaking 2025 Moomba Masters Slalom champion, buddy. That was just earlier this month. That's insane.
That one felt really good to finally kind of get a win under the belt, and to have it be one of the majors. That was a cool moment. I was excited.
What did it feel like? Because Moomba, we'll just get into it. Moomba is probably the most sensational event to watch as a spectator, just because you're in downtown Melbourne, Australia. You fly from North America, you end up going from winter to summer. So that's weird. You show up and you're skiing on a river where the conditions are considerably different than anything else out there. There's current, there's rollers, there's often trash in the water. You got fans on the shoreline. You've got huge skyscrapers in the background. What was that like to just ski there, let alone end up on top of the podium?
It's surreal. Like, just to be on the dock, and every time I go under, I think Swan Street Bridge, you're just like, holy cow, this is different. This isn't like, a random lake in the middle of nowhere. We're in a city on a river. So that's really cool. And then kind of training going into it, I've been skiing a lot here at Rollins, and me and Coach Mark, we would just kind of be like, okay, there's the tour boats, and now we go out. And so it's been skiing in the rolliest conditions I think you could, just with boat wakes everywhere. And so honestly, when I got there, it felt normal. It felt easy. It felt like I had done it 100 times this winter. And so,
wow,
like, they're getting to balance, skiing with Bergs and my dad at home, and then coming over here and like going there and getting proper training, and then coming to Rollins and getting like tough conditions training where we're just cranking up passes. I think that was the best preparation I could have asked for it.
So I'm not going to tell our viewers that they should go ski in crappy water, but what you're telling me is you went to ski in crappy water on purpose to get ready for the Yara.
Yeah. I mean, if the water's crappy, you got to say, all right, I'm going to be good through it. And you got to just, and at the start, like, I was missing 32, and I, like, at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, holy cow, I can't ski here. Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, over the, last semester into this one, it's like, okay, I'm running 39s in it, and it feels the normal. And like, the bouncing around that was scaring me at first, it feels like, it's just kind of part of it, and it doesn't have much of an effect anymore. And so, like, I honestly think it's good for you, and it's good training.
How did you feel during the event? Because I watched both the preliminaries and the finals. I think a lot of people did. But how did you feel personally on the water? Like, did you feel confident? Were you sketched out at any point? Did you feel like you were on the edge of like falling off before obviously getting what you needed to win?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same with every event. Like, I'm usually first few passes pretty nervous, and then once that kind of like, okay, I gotta go here, kicks in, you just kind of get into the zone, and it feels like practice. It feels like every day. I remember 3-ball at 32 in prelims, I had changed like early to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I'm going around this. Like, I felt narrow. And that was kind of like a scary moment. And then the rest just kind of felt okay. Like the 35s, both prelims and finals, I'm like, okay, I'm not early, but like, you don't need to be early here. Like, honestly, the earlier you are, you're just sitting kind of in rollers bouncing around. So just move out and move through. But like, just kind of get comfortable doing that, and comfortable being a little later.
So we talked about the physical side of it. What about the mental game? Like, I know you kind of spoke to it just now, but for people who are trying to push their own limits, getting to like into a bigger event, or trying to not be so nervous, what are a couple key things you do maybe leading up to the day of skiing, like say finals, right? Leading up to the day, like, or during your warm up, or when you get in the water, like, what are some rituals or some habits you have mentally that help you stay sharp and not?
Yeah, I used to honestly have more habits than I do now. Like, I honestly then was just trying to keep, and I'm still learning it. Like, it's a tough thing to balance. It's a tough thing to really know how to make yourself calm and collective in those moments. But like just small things, like the days before I wasn't allowing myself to like to be nervous. Every time I was just like, oh man, I'm scared, I would just put on a movie or just find a way to relax and be calm. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so kind of just continuing with the mental side, just knowing, okay, I'm going to be in this position, I'm going to be nervous, that's okay. I think it was Regina said, like, yeah, I'm nervous, but that means I still care. And so like just kind of being ready for that. And then like I love having my dad and sister on the dock. I find a way to joke around with them, and just kind of goes from a tense situation to all of a sudden my sister says something that I find funny, and now we're back to a good spot. And so like it's a process, like the mental side, but anyone out there, just like, find what makes you happy, realize we're doing this because we're happy and or because we like it. And
So, question: you've been climbing the pro ranks over the last couple years, few years maybe. What do you think has contributed? I mean, you ski a lot. You got great training. You got your sister to help you train. You got your dad, and I'm sure you got others. But what do you think has been kind of the thing that's changed or that's helped you break onto the pro scene over the last few years? What are a couple of factors in your opinion?
a lot, honestly. I mean, I don't think you can really supplement for volume, just volume on the water.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting better through that. But changing trainings environments is like something that I grew up skiing on, like probably one of the best lakes you could. And so like when you go to a tournament, it doesn't feel exactly the same. It can throw you off. But changing around a little bit, and then going and just getting to bounce different ideas off different people. I know you and I have talked a bit. I've talked to Matt Reaney a lot, and I've kind of kept the central voice being Bergs and my dad. And so we kind of we have our ideas of how we kind of want to improve in the season, and we have our list. And then whether it's different verbiage or a different way of looking at skiing, like how do we improve by talking to others. And so that's something that's neat. And then a lot of honestly just watching videos. Like my gate this year, I wasn't happy with it. I wanted to tear it apart, redo it this winter. And so it went back from watching more Andy, honestly, than anyone else. A lot of Andy, a lot of Will, and
What
a
do you
lot
like
of,
about Andy? What do you like about Andy and Will's gate?
well, Will's is different in the sense that he's a little tailish on the glide, and you think, okay, I tried that for the longest time and I was struggling.
Mhm.
But then you're watching it and you're going, yes, he's tailish there, but watch his body position through the wakes. It doesn't matter really where his stance is, so long
Yeah.
as like through the first wakes he's in a strong and bulletproof position. And then Freddie's gate, I was screenshotting and comparing mine to his a bunch, and you can see I thought our moves were similar, and I was like, okay, so what's different? And then you watch his water break, and it was constantly 6 inches ahead of mine
Yeah.
on the ski. I'm like, okay, so that's something I need to take away. And then Andy, honestly, was one of the key ones that I liked and like picking up on. He stays on the cutting edge, like pretty much all the way through the glide. He's holding his direction. And then rather than flat ski to tip back to roll in, it's just a carve of the ski. And like, it's beautiful to watch. And so trying to kind of balance, watch those three and see what we can learn from it. It's neat.
Obviously, you and your dad and your sister, and I'm sure others, you've developed this ability to like be students of the sport. It sounds like you're totally into it because you're taking the time to watch videos. You're not just kind of blindly going out and taking random sets. And I feel like that's something that we could all do better. I think sounds like you're putting in the time and the homework.
Yeah, I mean, it's just honestly, I enjoy watching it. I enjoy watching the old Moombas and seeing like, holy cow, how does Andy dunk at a 2-ball and find a way to back on and connect it to 3 and early? Like those are the things that I'm like, okay, I can't do that yet, but how do I watch that and see their position into it and see how I can do that? Like, it's cool.
So talking about dunking 2-4, and you don't do that yet, but I know we talked pre-Moomba, and you did change something off the water going into this year. Do you want to talk about that briefly? I just think it's interesting as far as gaining a little bit of weight and strength.
Yeah. Like I've always kind of been one of the lightest on the tour, I would guess. I was competing last year. I think at California Pro-Am, I was 6'2", 138. Like I was light.
Dude, that's so light.
And, it sounds great. Lightweight, less pressure on the ski. Ski sits higher. I'm faster than anyone else. And like, I've always been like, okay, that's the way to go. I was getting injured a ton. Like I was like, I just wasn't making it through a month or two without like having to take a week off because it just hurt. And then I was also, I felt like if I struck it right, it was good. But, in tournaments when there's that a little bit of extra time to think and you want to process, as soon as I did that and made a mistake, I was done. Like I wasn't strong enough to pull back to a connection and go. And so, getting in the gym and saying, okay, how do I get stronger in my legs so I'm not crushing as much, get stronger? And I really had no idea what I was doing. I hadn't done weight training before, but a lot of that, and I don't know, I think it's gone better.
How much weight did you gain pre-Moomba? Like where were you at going into
Moomba? So from August to Moomba, I think I put on 20-ish pounds. Now I've kind of come down a little bit since, but I was skiing at like 155-ish, 158.
Yeah.
Now a little bit lighter, but I don't know. It's kind of a cool process. And, you kind of learn, like, I feel like I can adjust weight pretty quick. Like if I needed to lose another 10 pounds, I think I could do it in a month.
Yeah.
But so like that kind of gives you the flexibility to play around and see, okay, here's where I am now. Here's how it feels on the ski versus here's how I am 3-4 pounds heavier. How does that feel on the ski?
Yeah. It's definitely a balance, right? Between being too light and almost a little too fragile and being a little stronger and a little bit more like having more strength to weight. But obviously you don't want to be so big and bulky that then you're working against the physics of water and ski design. So
yeah,
interesting. Question. You qualified for the Masters, prestigious Masters with your Moomba win, correct?
Yeah.
So,
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's like, you don't have to chase it now. So what's that feel like? Now you can kind of like focus on that next tournament. That's like a long runway to get to Masters.
Yeah, I mean, that feels really good, honestly. Like I can go chase records this start of the spring, go to record tournaments and see, okay, let's run 41. Let's get one at 43. And if we do that, let's get two. That's kind of been a thought. And then now also with the Masters qualifiers leading up and having Swiss Pro and then having all that leading to the Masters, it's a lot. And so now I feel I've got the advantage. I can be rested going into it. And balancing all that with school, it's the same time as exams. And like that can be a good bit on the plate. And so having those kind of taken care of, being qualified, being able to just focus on Swiss Pro, focus on Masters and give it the best run that we can. That's exciting.
I mean, you are multifaceted right now. You're not just a pro skier. You're obviously going to school. You got a lot on your plate. What are you studying, by the way?
I'm doing kind of a full plate. I'll see if I finish it, but I'm doing majors in economics and comp sci, and then minors in data analytics and math. So we'll see if I finish all that. But
yeah, that's crazy. I mean, do you have any goals when you get out? Things you want to maybe consider doing?
Hopefully of skiing supporting me for a little bit and take a run at starting something or take a run at learning something so that I can ski for as long as I can and not working 9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly. Good for you. Well, you're on your way, dude. I mean, you can't start it any better than winning Moomba. One of the toughest events. What other goals do you have this season for the rest of the season? It's early. We're not even into April yet, but I'm just thinking like looking ahead, you mentioned setting some records. What records are those and what performance goals do you have for record tournaments and also for placements at pro events this year?
Yeah, I mean, like first and foremost, I want to knock down 41. It's been on the mind for a while. So chase that and see if we can get it. And then that would be another U21 world record. And then kind of going into the rest of the year, I mean, we're lucky this year. We have 3 majors. And so qualified for Masters now and we'll be at Worlds. And so let's go for all 3. Like you only have so many Worlds and Masters in your career. Let's go for it and make the most of it. And then kind of on the junior side, it's another U21 Worlds year. So that's an event I'm excited for. I mean, like seeing all the skiers your age, you get to hang out with them. It's a really fun tournament. And then also, I mean, it's a Worlds, you want to go for it. And then right before Open Worlds is Junior Pan Am Games in Paraguay. I feel like that'll be a cool one. Like staying in an athlete village, meeting other athletes. I think that'll be really cool. It's kind of a busy schedule this year, a lot of pro events, but just see as much as well we can do.
A lot. Sounds like you've got a lot on your plate. How are you going to approach this season? I know you just set out the actual outcomes that you're looking for. What are you going to do along the way to make sure that you stay on track?
Yeah, sorry. I've never been like a skier that's, okay, I need to run 41 every day. I need to do this. It's always like, how can I feel better on my ski each day? And how can I, like, if I don't feel good, it's okay to take the day and just do 35s and continue to kind of find like a good balance on that. And so kind of approaching the season, it's the same as the off season in the sense that, you know, the more I can just continue to learn, it's the best. Like I remember Will saying in a video he did with you, more than a skier, he goes like, I do not care about the day-to-day results. I care about like feeling the best I can and learning as much as I can. And so like kind of continuing that, seeing how I can learn from him and other guys, it's something you got to continue to do. It's not just an off-season thing. So yeah, that'll be kind of the goal.
How about when you're at a tournament, who are a couple people you try to make sure you watch, like that you really enjoy watching ski?
Yeah. I mean, I can go back to him a lot, but Will, like, not even watching him ski, of course, like that's a treat, but watching how he approaches it, watching how calm he is before, how calm he is after, whether it was a great set or a bad set. It's like you can watch him and truly see how professional he is and see how dialed he is. And I've been able to see that kind of from going back and watching all the tournaments that my dad skied in against him. And like, that's always cool to pick up on.
Yeah. I know it's crazy. Your dad skied against Will and a lot of us, and now you're skiing against Will and T-Gas and that crew. That's really cool.
And you this year when you make the comeback.
We'll see. I would love to, but I'm glad you're even thinking about that. You don't have anything to worry about, bro. Don't have anything to worry about.
That's why I'm training.
Good. Yeah, right. You've got other people to worry about. So on that topic, max performance, I don't think people understand, and you don't have to share, but I mean, what do you think you could do at 43? Like, what do you think's possible for you at 43? Because the world record is what, 2.5?
2.5.
2.5. Yeah. Is it possible?
I mean, I've turned 2 twice now, been just inside 3, and then popped the handle going to 3 once, and like not perfect boat path, like obviously friendly. It's 43. Yeah. But I mean,
still,
the way I view it, and it might be too ambitious, I mean, I don't really know. I'm 19 now. I've been like skiing professionally and training really hard for 4 or 5 years now. I mean, I think it might give myself another 10 to 15, 20. I want to chase running it. I want to chase the world record and see how high I can, and sit back. Like when I'm done with my career, I want to be able to say, okay, I did everything I can to run 43. I don't know if it's even close to possible, but
do you think it's possible?
Shoot, I have no idea.
I mean, theoretically, if you can get 1 and you can get 2 in turn 2, theoretically, that indicates that you may be able to get at least 4. If you can get 1 and 2 and get to 3. But
I mean, it was only a few years ago when it was Patos bursting on the scene and taking over. We were going, shoot, is tricking 13 possible? Like, what is the points per second? How does that look? And now it's Maddie, Teen Show, Jake, Pato, Joel, all right on the door. Like, I mean, shoot, I think the most exciting event of the year is probably going to be Swiss Pro Tricks. It's like they're all shooting for it. And Louis too. And so, I mean, we were saying that about Tricks just a year or 2 ago. I think, with me coming up, Lucas, I mean, you look at all the young skiers, the Eade brothers, Landon, like I feel like we're in a point where in a few years it's going to be a similar thing in slalom where it's like, holy cow, everyone's knocking on the door. And I mean, I named a bunch of young guys, but there's also still going to be Freddie fighting for it. Nate will still probably be around. At this rate, Will probably still be around fighting for it. Dane, Cole, like Rob Hazelwood, he's still Joel. Like the list goes on and on. Like I feel like in 3 years, 2 years, it's going to be every single tournament. It's going to be almost a world record to win.
Yeah. Especially if the site is primed for it, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. What, who do you not want to ski against in a head-to-head event the most? Who would you dread being on the dock with?
Nate got the best of me at California. I mean, he gets the best of everyone, but honestly, I feel like I would kind of like to face off against him again and see how I can do. I mean, he ran 3 at 41 and I needed a piece of 4 and I turned 3. I was a little bad into it and like lost the handle. So that one kind of stung, but I mean, anytime you're going against Freddie, Nate, Will, your heart's got to be kind of, or your stomach, or your heart's got to be kind of in your throat. Like,
yep. What do you like? You like to go first or second in head-to-heads?
Always first. You get another quarter buoy.
Yeah.
So I like that. But I mean, second, you go just you too.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about what you have to do. You can just go do it.
Yeah.
What about off the water, dude? What's one thing people might be surprised to hear about you outside of skiing?
Oh man.
Like, are you like a yo-yo champion, or like, is there any random fact about you?
My dad and I play some serious ping pong every time I come home.
Nice.
So that's something I like doing. A lot of basketball, not very good. But you know, it's honestly, I mean, just coming to Rollins, that was the way I met everyone. You just go play intramural and you leave and you've met another 20 or 30 guys. And so that I want to get better at that. I mean, that's kind of it. A lot of driving right now.
Yeah.
Back and forth to school.
To and from. What would you be doing if you weren't water skiing, do you think?
I think I would work in hockey. I looked into it going into school. I was emailing back and forth with an owner of a team.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like I was doing that at U21 Worlds in Mexico, and that put me on cloud 9 even before the tournament started. It was a cool experience. And then I got into Rice, which was like my dream school for sports management. It's got the #1 program in the world for it. And I was like, okay, we're doing that. And then I was talking to Stephen Nevue actually, and I was like, so like Lakes of Cadies over here, Terramare, like what else is around? He said, Charlie, like I know you love this and like you got into a top school, congrats. You would be stupid to leave. If skiing's your goal, you'd be stupid to leave Central Florida. And so that was something where I was like, okay, yeah, he's right. And so honestly, looking at it now, I couldn't be happier. I'm at Rollins. But you know, I guess if I wasn't skiing, I would like to go down that path and try to work in hockey.
That's interesting. I would not. I mean, that's totally out of left field for me. I wouldn't have guessed that, but that's rad.
Yeah.
Opposite, frozen. Well, speaking on that, I was going to say, you know, there's maybe some young folks or some collegiate kids out there. You're a collegiate kid. What advice do you have for like juniors coming up as far as skiing that are dreaming of maybe getting to where you're at, or of, you know, collegiate skiers who want to keep skiing after college? Like what would you tell people who have these dreams to be something in skiing?
Yeah, I mean, first, any like young high school students, go to a collegiate school. I mean, collegiate nationals, holy cow. I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's just another tournament. That was the most fun thing I think we could have ever asked for.
Dude, you killed it too. If anybody hasn't seen the Soul Skiing episode, go watch it. Charlie wins it, runs, what'd you run, 3:41?
I think we're in 2 at 3.
You were going for 4, obviously, to break the national record, but still, that was rad. And to hear you interview after, talking about how different that experience was, that was really cool to hear from your mouth how different that experience was than pro skiing.
It was awesome. I mean, I think anyone should look at if they're looking at what to do and continue skiing, go to a school, hopefully Rollins, where you can ski. It's awesome. And like being a part of that collegiate skiing crowd, it's crazy. And then advice, just kind of on approaching it, I mean, look, if you love it, there's no direct path to it. Just keep finding a situation to keep putting yourself in a situation when you get to ski. Like my dad, before coming to college, I think his best was a couple of 32, maybe 35. And so he didn't think about pro skiing. He just knew he loved it and he wanted to do it. And he came out of Rollins, and didn't want to go back and skied in Central Florida and still lives here and, won a couple pro events. And like, it really isn't like, and now of course with, me, Lucas, and a couple others, it's like, oh, you gotta be good young to make it, but that's not the case.
Congrats on Moomba. I think I watched both rounds. Like I said, I didn't say this before, but you looked dominant. I mean, just to be honest, from like, you can always tell when people are unsettled. And, you said you were a little unsettled the first couple passes, both the maybe prelims and finals, but it didn't look like it, especially at 38 off and then the 39, the money pass. You just looked like you were skiing almost normal, and almost everybody else looked like the river was getting the best of them.
Great.
And so that was really cool to watch, because you did it not just in the semis or the prelims, but you did it in the finals as a top seed, which I know you like sometimes to go first, but going last can be really, really hard and really like nerve-wracking, and you just handled it. So that was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that was exciting.
Yeah, dude, you're an absolute force. Hoping to see what happens this season. And what, Swiss Pro Slalom coming up next, I guess?
Yeah, a few record tournaments, and then we're getting into Swiss Pro and starting the season. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining, dude. I appreciate you taking the time, and hopefully we'll get you back on again. Hopefully you give us more reasons. So keep shredding, keep skiing, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.